up, it's Richard here with Statifying Football. This is your Week 11, the primetime college football games. Started off with Arkansas and Florida. Arkansas has actually improved this year. They're 3-3. They beat Tennessee 24-13. Former Gator quarterback Felipe Franks has been pretty solid. He had 215 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Florida, they demolished number 5 Georgia 44-28. Kyle Trask 474 yards, 4 touchdowns and a pick. He set an SEC record with 5 consecutive games with at least 4 touchdown passes. Heisman. Malik Davis, the running back, had 5 catches for 100 yards and 571 total yards, forced 3 turnovers there. This may be a little bit closer than people think. Arkansas is much improved, but I think UF should be able to score a lot, and Felipe Franks is so inconsistent, they should be able to force them into a few turnovers. All right, Oregon and Washington State, possible shootout here. Oregon beat Stanford pretty easily, 35-14. Tyler Shuff, 227 passing, a touchdown, a pick, plus 85 rushing yards and a touchdown. C.J. Verdell, 105 rushing yards and a touchdown, 496 total yards. Washington State under new head coach Nick Rolovich to beat Oregon State 38-28. Jaden Dillard, 227 passing, 2 touchdowns and a pick, plus 43 rushing yards and a touchdown. Deion McIntosh rated for 147 and a touchdown. Travell Harris, 7 catches, 107, 2 touchdowns. Defensively, they had 4 sacks there. I think this really could go back and forth, but I'm going to give Oregon a slight edge there. All right, SMU. They beat Temple pretty handedly, 47-23. Shane Bouchot, 355 passing, 4 touchdowns. Kylan Granson, 6 catches, 149 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Page, 9 catches, 131 and 2 touchdowns, 549 yards. Playing Tulsa, who hasn't played in a few weeks, but they seem to fucking win for no goddamn reason. They beat ECU. They came back at the end on bullshit calls that the American Athletic Conference said they were bullshit. It won 34-30. Zach Smith, 253 passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Fuck Tulsa, SMU all the way. All right, Pittsburgh and Georgia Tech. Pitt, they demolished Florida State 41-17. Kenny Pickett, 210 passing and a rushing touchdown. Jordan Addison, 11 catches, 127. Defensively, they had 7 sacks, 3 turnovers, and a pick 6. Georgia Tech, a few weeks ago, they lost to Notre Dame 31-13. Jeff Sims, 150 passing yards. They had 238 total yards there. This will be kind of close, but Pittsburgh should get all over Sims and force him into a bunch of turnovers. Wisconsin hasn't played in weeks. Let's see if they can actually play this time. Their only win of the season so far was that demolishment of Illinois 45-7. Graham Mertz had the virus. He may play. He was awesome in that game, 20 of 21. First ever start, 20 of 21, 248, 5 touchdowns. Michigan, they lost again. Jim Harbaugh. They lost to Indiana, 38-21. Joe Milton, 344 passing, 3 touchdowns, but 2 picks. Ronnie Bell, 6 catches, 149 and touchdown. They had 13 rushing yards there. Wisconsin's been off for so long. This may be a little bit closer, but I'm still gonna go Wisconsin to get the edge to get that win. All right, Northwestern, they're 3-0. 3-0. They are ranked. They had a nice close win against Nebraska, 21-13. Peyton Ramsey, 169, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. They forced 2 turnovers there. Purdue hasn't played in a while. They beat Illinois a few weeks ago, 31-24. In that game, Aiden O'Connell, 371 passing, 2 touchdowns. Xander Horvath, 102 rushing and a touchdown. David Bell, 9 catches, 122 and a touchdown. Milton Wright, 6 catches, 100 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, had a fumble return touchdown, forced 4 turnovers in that game. This could be it's kind of strength against strength. Pretty good defense for Northwestern, good offense for Purdue. But I'm gonna say Purdue scores a little more than Northwestern. Northwestern, they scored 21-21. And their first game, they did score 37, but I think their norm is about 20, and I think Purdue might score just a little bit more than that. All right, FSU and NC State. FSU got killed by Pitt 41-17. They had 2 quarterbacks combined for 144 yards and 3 interceptions. They allowed 7 sacks there. NC State, they had a close shootout loss to Miami 44-41. Bailey Hockman, 248, 2 touchdowns and a pick. They did give up 620 yards, but FSU offense kind of sucks this year. So I'm going to go NC State to win that. All right, South Carolina, Ole Miss. South Carolina, he got killed by Texas A&M 48-3. Colin Hill was terrible, 8-21, 66 yards and 2 picks. They had 150 total yards. Where Ole Miss, their last game a couple weeks ago against Vanderbilt, destroyed it 54-21. Matt Corral set his school record with 19 consecutive completions. He started 19 of 19. He finished 31 of 34 for 412 yards and 6 touchdown passes. Eli Moore went off for 14 catches, 238 yards, and 3 touchdowns themselves. They had 641 yards there. I don't think South Carolina keeps this close. Ole Miss big in that one. All right, Temple and UCF. Temple, they lost to SMU 47-23. They had 2 different quarterbacks play. Not great. Anthony Russo may be back in this game, but they're going to really need to step it up if they want to keep up with UCF. UCF played a couple weeks ago against Tulane, 44-21. Dylan Gabriel, 328 passing, 2 touchdowns. Otis Anderson ran for 170 yards and a touchdown. Greg McCray ran for 107 and a touchdown. Jalen Robinson, 5 catches, 107. They lead the nation in yards per game with 652 yards per game. They had 681 in the last one, and it's not even close. The number 2 guy is 593, and the NCAA record is like 640, I think, set, weirdly enough, in 1984 by Mississippi Valley State School of Jerry Rice, where he was on that team that set that record. So UCF is on a roll. Temple always gives them fits and struggles, but it might be too hard for them to keep up with UCF right now. All right, Utah, UCLA. They were supposed to play on Friday and that get pushed back to Saturday night. Utah, this is their first game back. Normally have a strong defense, only have like 2 returning starters though. UCLA lost in a shootout to Colorado 48-42. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, 303 passing, 4 touchdowns and a pick, 109 rushing and a touchdown. Greg Dulcich, 4 catches, 126 and a touchdown. They turned over 4 times in that game, which is part of why they lost. Utah, I haven't seen. They do have grad transfer Jake Bentley coming in from South Carolina, but just based off what I saw from the one game, I think UCLA maybe takes Utah in that game. All right, then you got Cal and Arizona State. Cal, they normally have a pretty good defense. Decent, running back Christopher Brown ran for like 900 yards, or quarterbacks, not bad. They might be able to keep it close with Arizona State just because their defense. Arizona State, they lost in a nail-biter to USC 28-27. Jaden Daniels, not very good passing, 134 and a touchdown, but ran for 111. They ran for 258 as a team. And they turned it over 3 times, but they forced 4 turnovers. So maybe they can do that against Cal. I think this will be a really, really close game, but I'm going to go Arizona State just based on Jaden Daniels in the end. All right, UNLV and San Jose State. UNLV lost to Fresno 40-27. Max Gilliam, 160 passing, a touchdown, 2 picks, but he did run for 139 yards and a touchdown. They put up 402 yards, but they turned over 3 times, which is part of why they lost. Where San Jose State, a surprise, they're 3-0. They beat San Diego State, who's normally a Mountain West contender. They beat them 28-17. Nick Nash, 169 passing, 2 touchdowns, a pick, plus 53 rushing and a touchdown. Defensively had 4 sacks and 3 turnovers. This may be kind of high scoring, but I expect San Jose State to maintain their undefeated streak. All right, last game of the night, Oregon State and Washington. Oregon State had a good game against Washington State, although they did lose 38-28. Tristan Gebbia, 329 passing, a touchdown, and Jamar Jefferson, 120 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Washington, Washington normally has a pretty good defense. They lost some starters as well. They lost their quarterbacks. They lost kind of everybody. So I'm going to go Oregon State in the end there. All right, those are my picks and the previews for the weekend. Peace.